else? I think that's all I have. Farrell, do you want to give a total on the money?
Well, we sold 89 tickets. You have sold 89 tickets. That's $890. Estimating $600 to $700 will go to the American Legion. So hopefully you can talk to some people, or they'll get the word out, and they will come again on Saturday. And as far as volunteers, I have Bobby from 7 to 9, Jerry at 9, 10, Sylvester 7 to 9, Ardina at 7 to 8, and two of us will be there from 6 to 10. Do I need to send you all reminders, or you remember that? You got it?
You got it.
Of course, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, well, our guest speaker today is Mary Hogan, and she is the president of the Ladies Reading Club. Mary?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I know so many of you from the community. And if you don't know me, I used to own a Screen Machine Sports here in town and now retired. And I see a lot of familiar faces from the shop. And so now in my retirement, they have let me join the Ladies Reading Club. So they voted me in for that this last fall. And after reading the bylaws, I found out it was a 2-year stint and not just one. So I was kind of suckered in with grandma food and good cookies and just great camaraderie there. And I know so many of those ladies. If you don't know about the Ladies Reading Club, we are an organization that came from roots in Junction City in the 1800s, 1874, when there was a bad plague here and drought, and it had the grasshoppers had decimated the fields and city too. All the trees were gone, and so many people were suffering with fire and the plagues that a bunch of the affluent ladies got together and they formed a group to help these communities with food and clothing, and so many people were suffering that people began to notice them, and more of these ladies came together. And then by the later 1800s, a lot of the colonels' wives on Fort Riley were in this group, and the colonels got together, and we were able to get together and raise money through the ladies were selling stocks, and they built a clubhouse. So this clubhouse was on 5th and Adams, and that lasted about 30 years. And then after that, Colonel Rockwell, he came through town with his wife and 5 daughters, and they got together, and the colonel actually donated and built a house on 3rd and Jefferson right behind St. X. And it's a beautiful stone building. If you drive by, see that, it's absolutely gorgeous inside and outside. And just for our clubhouse and just for our ladies organization. And we became a ladies reading club. And we weren't named that till a little later in the 1800s, just because we became a library, the very first library in Junction City. And we actually had a paid librarian that the club paid for, and books came about. And some of the ladies were worried that some of the books were getting dirty. So we decided that we needed to be more discriminative about who checked out our books. And that was a big discussion in the group that more people wanted more books and some people wanted less books. And so probably in the 1930s, we got out of the kind of the library business, and we had a more of a substantial library here in Junction City. So it was kind of gone away, but really for 50 years or more, there was a big library there at 2nd or 3rd and Jefferson. Other things that we are the first on, we can claim that we are the very first and oldest organized women's club in Kansas. It was established in 1875, so it makes our club, we just celebrated 150 years, and one of the rarely rare clubs in this area that have had that, besides Manhattan now is 150, and Abilene also. We are the only women's club in Kansas that currently and continues to use its own clubhouse built for its own purpose. It was built and donated by Rockwell, who was an important businessman in the community. He was also a lumber yard, and he owned many homes here. He wanted a permanent place for his daughters and his wife to carry out the goods that they were doing. And over 300 people attended the open house there. And I would like to tell you, if you don't know about the history of all the buildings in Junction City, so this is kind of interesting. That it is one of the oldest ones here, but Spring Valley on K-18, if you're not familiar with that, a beautiful old school building was built in 1873. The Bartell House was built in 1879. Our clubhouse in 1897, and the Civil War Arch, the Grand Memorial Arch, Army Memorial Arch in downtown Junction City in the park there, it was built in 1898, and the courthouse in 1900. We really are very happy that we are able to take care of this building. It's expensive to take care of this building, but it is our permanent home, and we really do love it so much. And lots of strong women have preceded us there, and we just want to continue the legacy of what we've done. We had a big uh, presence during the flu of 1918. Our club had over 50 women always sewing masks and taking care of soldiers and their families, always going on base and taking care of them. And that went on for that whole year. We paid $1 a meeting, which was quite a lot of money then, to keep a budget to help these people, the families of these soldiers too. And it was very similar to what we went through. We had a 5-week quarantine in 1918. As you know, it started here at Fort Riley. And the masks at the time were 5 layers thick. And we gathered gauze and other cotton things. And with the Red Cross, we're able to help many of the soldiers then. And if you'd like to read about that, I have this. If you can hand this out, it's really pretty interesting. And if you let me read just a little bit of pre-typed up words, and not just my own words, but this is from Andrea Mace. We have a historian in our club who we are so lucky to have handwritten notes from late 1800s to typed letters now, and actually we are just emailing everybody now, so we've come a long way. We are actually an affiliated member of the larger non-denominational, nonpartisan International Women's Organization, and I think I handed some information out to you, of the General Federation of Women's Clubs. We lobby DC for women's rights, and we also are involved with the state lobbying. The Kansas State General Federation of Women's Clubs. Part of our membership dues go to both of those organizations for worthwhile projects. The distinction between a service organization rather than a social club is really important and reflects our purpose. The creation of Ladies Reading Club grew out of these activities in the Ladies Aid Society. Those ladies came to work together, like I said, in the plagues, and we have oral histories of those grasshoppers so thick and hungry that they ate all the farmers' crops and the fields and the leaves and laundry hanging on the lines. So people were starving and they needed help. So the Ladies Reading Club came together and we helped. And because we were called the Ladies Reading Club, because as the ladies sewed there in the clubhouse, somebody would read the whole time. And that actually became more Shakespeare clubs, but we became just a ladies reading club. At the end of this crisis, people just realized that they enjoyed spending their time together and working together. So we evolved into more of a permanent ladies club. If you ever drove by, it's just a beautiful building. Some cute notes, you might want to read some of these. I won't read them all to you, but it's so interesting. We did remain a library through the 1930s, and when we did give this up, it seems like we moved on to more of a Junction City little theater. So the first theater was in our club. We have a stage and we have curtains that open and close, and we have a beautiful grand piano that the building was actually rather built around because it was so big. We moved it in first and built a building around it. So we have a big history of theater, theater for adults and for kids. And I think Farrell comes in helps us out with his accordion there sometimes in our music program. And just, it's been a treasure for me and an honor for me to keep this legacy. And as you see, I'm learning all the time about our history. But right now we have music scholarships, which we were the first club in the state of Kansas to start a music scholarship, and now it has gone nationwide. We do 500 music scholarships. The kids come from all over the state, and they come to the church here in Junction City, and it's high school, and we give out $500 scholarships to the top 500 in choral, in single singing, instrumental, piano. So it's a beautiful day. It's in the first week of March. If you want to come hear some very talented kids that come from all over the state, from Kansas City out far as Western Kansas, uh, they really do send us the top of the top kids. And this year, so many City kids won. It was very good to see. Last year we didn't have any Junction City kids. This year we had so many. So it was just really proud of the way we represented our kids this year. And they won, I think, 3 out of the 5 won $500 scholarships from us. So we also have an essay contest. It's a citizenship essay, and two young ladies from Junction City won last year, and they won $500 scholarships as well. So that's where we do our fundraising for, and uh, just giving back to the kids. And music and literacy is our big focus of our club. So with that, if you have any questions, I can hopefully answer the best that I can.
Given the affluent ladies associated with this, has there ever been an endowment established for building maintenance or anything like that?
We have a capital fund,
Okay.
if that's maybe more what you're thinking. We do, we have a capital fund, and the Geary County, or the Greater Community Foundation, has really helped us a lot. It's brought more people to realize who we are and get some advertising. We've got that booth out there. I think a lot of people were kind of a secret still. And what is that building on Third and Jefferson? So that has helped us a lot, the Greater Community Foundation.
When do y'all meet and where's the building at?
Yeah. So if you travel on Jefferson and you see St. X on your left, if you're traveling south, it's on the right. So it's on the southwest corner of Third and Jefferson. It's a beautiful older light stone color house. You'll notice. There's a picture of it here. Yeah, I have some information for you guys if you want to look.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, I just don't, it's not telling me where that.
Yeah, 224 North Jefferson. We meet on second and fourth Thursdays, and it's usually afternoon, and ladies come in, and we have a little meeting, a program or a music program, and then we have a tea, and we have some light snacks. But we do have, from the late 1800s, the Rockwell people did donate a large china service and a large silver service, and we just stopped using that just a few years ago. It was just getting too much, and we didn't want to break the things, and it was just getting too much to wash them and dry them and put them away. So we now are not using those, but we do have them. They're beautiful, and it kind of goes with the period of the house. And um, in the past, it was a very affluent ladies, and now we're mostly, a lot of retired teachers, and there are a lot of retired ladies, but they have beautiful linens and beautiful accoutrement, and it was quite a high tea almost, I think, at the time, and now we're a more relaxed group of ladies, and it's just been a joy to be with them and learn from them. Thank you for the question. So I invite you guys, you'd love to see inside. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. And once a year we have a fall festival and the community can come in. We just don't rent it out to people. It's been in our bylaws all this time to just have it now as just for the ladies. And people always ask us if they could use it because it is so pretty inside, but we just keep it for our own group. So.
How many ladies do you have?
We have 38 members, and we used to meet in a large circle, And it got to the point where it was hard to eat and drink and talk at the same time. People were having to do the program. So now we have tables set up all inside where we can visit with each other. It's a little better than.
Yeah, if you're a reading club, that means you read books. And if you read books, you select a monthly book to type to read, or
That's a
how you
great
go
question.
about that?
It's probably the number 2 question. We are not a reading club. We are not a book club. We were called the reading club because somebody would read Shakespeare as the ladies would work their sewing. And so somebody was always reading. So we called ourselves a ladies reading club. But we do not, and because we were a library for so long, but we do not read a book monthly but it is kind of a misnomer now because it's kind of evolved to be a reading club. Sounds more like a book club, but we do not read books.
Les is still a ferocious reader, so maybe you can start leading
Oh.
in discussions.
Okay. I didn't know that, Buzz.
We got a wife who's a member, she's not attending now.
Yeah, we miss her. Yeah, for sure. We do. We miss her.
So Mary, if you would allow me to expand a little bit on the early days of the building. The Rockwells came here to start a business. They came from the east. Their building was established at the corner of 8th and Washington. It's still there. That building's still there. It's actually the second or third building because there were 3 fires. Because buildings were in the old days were built out of wood. So, you know, if the fire started one place on the block, it oftentimes follows along. So they had a merchandise building there where they sold lots of goods, opened in the early hours, stayed open till 11 o'clock at night. And they also were the collectors of grain, and that grain would be sold and maybe taken as far as Mexico. But the important thing about the story, I think, to me anyway, is when Bertrand, who was the Rockwell that established the building, Bertrand was running the store, had 35 employees, I think I read it one time. And this Julia Snyder would come from Chapman to make purchases. 35, she would come over and from Chapman to make purchases. And he was attracted to her. And he would often long for her and would look out the front door for her. And in the wintertime, the story says that he stood at the front door longing for her, blew his breath on the cold window, and then wrote her name in the steam that came from his breath and with the cold window. Eventually, they did in fact get married. And that's when I think the Ladies Reading Club originally started above the opera house, if I recall. That please don't quote me on that, but it met somewhere else. And then he said, Julia, I'm going to build you this clubhouse because you're involved in this group. And so that's how it actually got built. He helped pay for his wife, Julia. They had 5 daughters, and then eventually they moved to Kansas City, where the daughters were. They passed there.
That's so interesting. I'm so glad you worked there. You get to know at the museum. Is that where you learned?
I studied him because I was invited to portray Bertrand Rockwell. We had a Ghosts of the Museum or something it's called. And I was enamored by his story and the story about Julia. So,
Oh, I'm so glad you did. That's so interesting. We might have to have you come speak to us. Maybe.
that's the
We
story.
have a program next
That
year.
would
Okay.
take but a couple of minutes.
I thought it was interesting that his daughter, Mary, came to visit an Abby Clark Hogan, and she helped remodel our clubhouse in the 30s, and it was in our group that those Hogans. She lived just a block on the other side of us, so it would be the next block over. So Adams is the next one. At Third and Adams, there's a large home that her and her husband built there, It's looks like it's chopped up in some apartments now, but I always thought it was those Hogans. We just keep coming through town and joining the club. So this is.
She started the first orchestra.
She started the or yeah, she traveled all over.
State of Kansas.
Yeah, and what did she play again? Violin, right? Yeah, she's a violinist. She played all over. One of the very talented daughters. Um,
Are there any members of the family present now at this, at this gender that still get this involved with this?
I think so many have left and passed on now, and sadly, Um, I was reading through a 1962 register of the club, and I see names that we see now, like the Vegans and Montgomerys. And so that was so interesting to see all those names that are on buildings or that we know from the newspaper. So it's interesting to see that in the 60s. And, we didn't have a lot of clubs that allowed women into their clubs until like Rotary didn't let women until the 1986. So these clubs were very strong, strong women in these clubs, business women and affluent women and that were still helping uh, Junction City with scholarships, and there are different things that they did then. So now that there's other clubs that are open to women, sometimes these other ladies clubs members have gone down. I was a member of Rotary, and I also was a member of Ladies Reading Club like 8 years ago. I have too long of a meeting. I couldn't make the whole meeting, so I had let that go. But then when I retired, I came back to them because they're just a great group of ladies. Very.
Is your club open to men?
We are not open to men. Yeah, I understand the question, and
They can be Boy Scouts.
and yeah, and sometimes I like that it's just being ladies.
We used to have a Mrs.
Oh, Mrs. Optimist.
Mrs. Yeah.
Auxiliary type.
Yeah, well, it was only for that, because women were not allowed to join this club, so it was separate.
It had to be separate, yeah. And then when did that change, do you know?
It's in the history, and I forgot what it was.
A lot of it were in the 80s and 90s. So.
Yeah. With the Title I fund.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know.
I'm not saying the right names. Anyway.
Vive la de France.
Mary, tell us about your background. How did you get here?
We came to Junction through the Army. We came in 97, and we never left. My husband retired in 09, so he was here pretty much the whole time, between deploying all the time, and I owned Screen Machine. So it was just worked out really well for our family that we were able to stay. And Emily was here her whole school career, even though she was an Army brat. We came here from Germany. I grew up in Overland Park. Sometimes early on I was in California, but moved to Overland Park, and then my husband joined the Army, and we left, and then they brought us back to Kansas. So we're just so happy to be here. My husband is retired; he does work on Fort Riley now, so he's just gonna stay. It's too beautiful of an area, and we love the community and love the people, and we're able to make a living here. So just so really blessed. We would never move back to like the big city or Overland Park. It's too much. It's too much. Yeah. So and Emily loved it here too. Just really lucky to be here.
Where is she?
Emily's in Kansas City area. She's in Tonganoxie, married and has a little girl. So yeah, life moves on so fast. It really does. And Emily from the middle school. So,
I found for the women here in the Upper Club, it said following the U.S. Supreme Court ruling, the board of directors voted on June 12, 1987 to admit women.
87, yeah. And there was a Supreme Court to allow women in Rotary in California, a Supreme Court.
Optimist, and that's Optimist
International. But we could have done it at a different time.
According to this history, it says that there was an auxiliary organization for wives called Optimist.
Yes.
and that was formed in 1975. However, women began to become members in 1980. The first woman to serve as president of the Junction City Breakfast Optimist was Louise Richards in 1994, and then Denise Quinn also served as president. So there's only been
That
two
was
presidents.
Louise. Louise was married about 5 times. Okay, so I think she was president repeatedly.
How long was Louise president?
She was multiple times, probably a different last name.
Should be there.
It says Louise Mathis Richards.
I wasn't joking. So
each time she got married, she
she was
okay.
president.
Okay, so
Louise.
4 names.
On the camera.
She must have been president like 4 times then.
How long have you been a member?
I first, 8,
Okay.
I believe it was. I think it was, and then took a vacation because of the 3 kids. Was able to join back up 5 years ago.
I joined in 2021, became president 2022.
Kind of like you, Mary.
Yeah.
But after I retired from civil service, 2 months after I retired, Ferrell had invited me to come as a guest. And so I came as a guest and I listened to all the speakers, and I thought that was very interesting to learn more what's going on in Junction City and our community. So then I went ahead and joined. It's been interesting.
Mary, we hope you'll join us for breakfast on Saturday.
Yes. Yeah. It'll be good to see you again. Thank you.
It's from 7 to 10. And it's going to be at the American Legion.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. All right.
And thank you for this morning.
Yes.
Thank you.